Hey guys, Gunpla Fan 15 here, and I've had a lot of people ask me how I achieved the titanium finish look on my Epion, and well, I'm gonna show you a tutorial on how to do that. Now there are, as far as I know, a few different ways on how to achieve this. You know, if you want different ways, just look them up on YouTube. I'm gonna show you how I did it. Now, it's gonna be a few different steps to this. And I'm going to show you the paint that you need, or at least the paint that I was taught that you needed. First off, in order to achieve this, you're going to need gloss black, and the way I was taught, it has to be enamel. Enamel gloss black has to be the thing that goes on there first. And your black is going to act as your primer, so you don't need to prime it. What I used, or what I'm using this time, before I didn't use this one, is Model Masters Gloss Black. And before, I sprayed it out of my airbrush, and for some reason, whenever I spray black enamel, I have a hard time getting it to actually get this high gloss, unless I actually just sit there and spray on it, and when I do that, it gives the orange peel effect. So, what I did this time was I just used this, and this is the effect. You can see that light a little bit. There you go. The camera can't focus too much on it, but this has more of a mirrored finish on it than anything else that I've done. There you go. That's better. Look how clear and shiny that is. That is what you want to achieve when you spray your black on. Now, be careful when you're doing this though. After you spray it, put it somewhere where no dust or hair or anything else can get onto it, because that'll just mess it up. I mean, it won't do the overall effect, but you'll be able to tell. But look at that. Very, very shiny. So once you spray your gloss black on there, since it's enamel, you're going to need it to let it cure. I've let that cure for about 2 days, so yeah, that should be enough for what I'm doing. I've never really had much problem with it curing before. So once that's on there, the next thing you're going to spray on is the chrome. And the one that I used is Alcad 2 lacquer. And it has to be lacquer. Normally, you don't spray lacquer over enamel, but once it's cured long enough, you can spray this on there, and you do it in slowly and light coats. And this chrome is very, very nice, very shiny. And you have to spray the black on there first, because if you just spray straight chrome on there, it's not going to have that mirrored finish on it. It's just going to look like silver. So it's going to come in this bottle, and as you can see, it doesn't look like anything is in there. It's just filled with liquid, but all the chrome is right here at the bottom. So when you get that, you just shake it up a lot. I just did a quick shake for y'all, but shake this up really well, and you load it up in the airbrush, and like I said, you spray it until you get a nice even coat. And then once that's done, you let that sit for a couple days, and then you spray your clear color on there. And for my Epion, the clear color I used was Tamiya Acrylic Clear Red, and it has to be acrylic that goes on top of the lacquer. So, just to recap, first is enamel gloss black, then the Alcad 2 lacquer chrome, and then your acrylic clear. Alright, I'm gonna pause this for a moment, get the chrome loaded up, and I'll be right back. Alright, it's all loaded up. One thing I forgot to mention, with this, you don't need to thin it. In fact, it even says right here on the instructions, do not thin. Spray light coats and spray it at 12 to 15 psi. So you don't need a lot of it in there, because a little bit will go a long way. And don't spray heavy coats, and make sure your psi is pretty low. Alright, it's loaded in there, so I'm going to show y'all how I do this. First, I'm going to put my mask on. Come on, piece. There we go. I always do a little test spray. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Basically, you just keep spraying until you get that nice even coat. Sorry for not talking so much, but... And I'm out. Now, that's basically what it's going to look like. It might look a little bit grainy, but, you know, give it time to dry, and it'll look a bit better. If you want to put another coat on this, you probably can, but just looking at it, I mean, look how shiny it is already. You can... It's still a mirror finish. So, let me, a little bit more in here. And see, I may have had the PSI up a little bit too high, so I dropped it down to about 10. There we go. Alright, back again. Just testing. Alright. Now look at that. You can still see the reflections of everything. You see my camera there. The airbrush, you can see that very, very clearly. Now, the next step, you know, after you clean this out, is loading up your clear color. And I'm gonna get this cleaned out and I'll resume this video shortly. Alright guys, so I've let it cure for about 2 days now, and just look how shiny this is. I realized the particles that look like were on it, the little specks, once it dries, it's like an actual powdery substance, so you can just, you know, get a cloth and wipe it off, and it comes out a lot smoother looking. Look at that right there. You can see everything perfectly. So, the next step is to spray with a clear color, and I'm using that Tamiya Clear Red, which I've already got loaded up in my airbrush. Spraying at about 10 psi. Or no, sorry, 15 psi. That might be a little bit too much, but let's see here. And like when spraying the silver, just even coats. And it's really just on your preference on how dark you want the color to go. I mean, if you want it as dark as it is in the cup here, just keep on spraying. But, oh, now I'm gonna put my mask on, start spraying, and let's see how this goes. Okay. There we go. A little test. There you go. You can see it's getting there. It's about where I want it to be. Some areas still look like they need some color to them, and I'm in no way an expert at this, so I don't think. Now I may need to actually clean my tip real quick. Yeah. Said, it's all just based on how dark you want it. Just try and get yourself a nice even coat. It's gonna look a little funky right now. Once it dries, and then I get the top coat put on, it's gonna look amazing. Looking so far pretty good. And just for reference, let's just say you did this on the back here. You don't want to just do that, and then look at that. Stupid. Very nice even strokes as best you can. I know it's hard sometimes. The more you go, the darker it'll get. This is what I'm going for. Have a nice dark tone right here. Like I said, I'm gonna let this dry for a few hours. I mean, it's acrylic, so shouldn't take that long, but I'm gonna give it a nice time to dry, and then I'm going to spray my top coat over it, and we'll see the finished product. So I'll pick this back up when I'm ready to do that. Alright, I've let this sit and dry for about 2 hours now. Ideally, maybe you should let it sit for a little bit longer, but for the purposes of this video, it'll do just fine. As you can see, very, very shiny, still highly reflective. and that is definitely what you want. In the light, I mean, you can't tell entirely too much, but look at that. Amazing. Alright, now the final step is put on your top coat. And what I use to get the highly reflective finish is this Pledge Floor Care Finish. And this is the exact bottle that you need. Don't just go out and get regular, finish with Pledge on it that might have, Glade or any other stuff on it. This is what you need. This is the formula. This is what was once called Future. They've had a few different designs for their bottle over the years. This is their most current one. This is the one that you need. I got it from Walmart. I paid maybe $3 or $4 for it, and it has worked wonders for me. And when you use it, you don't need a whole lot in there. I mean, unless you're doing a whole bunch of parts, but a little bit goes a long way. Basically, what you're gonna do, you're gonna put it in your airbrush, and you're gonna spray this at 10 psi. So that's what I do it at. And when you do it, barely pull back on the trigger if you're using a double action airbrush. Barely pull back on the trigger, let a little bit out, and just start going over it in light coats. And I'll show you this in a minute, but basically what I'm gonna do, spray it in light coats, and then I'm gonna blast it with some air to kind of dry it a little bit, put it up to the heat lamp, go over it again, do the same thing a few times, and when it starts to get foggy, that's when it's just about done. When it starts to get foggy, blast it with the air, let it sit, maybe do that 1 or 2 more times, and it should be good. So I've already got it loaded up, and here we go. Okay, as always, what I do, test it, it's blowing perfectly fine. And get my lamp ready, and here we go. Alright. Now I'm blasting it with the air. Put it up to the heat lamp. This process takes a little bit longer, but the end result is definitely worth it. Maybe if I had a little bit hotter lamp, it'd go a bit quicker, but and you might not even have to do that. I just do that just to speed it along. Alright, blast it some more. There we go. And as always, whenever you're painting with a brush, don't just sit over it and blast it, because it will start to pool, and then it'll run down, and it will completely ruin it. So, drying it a little bit. Alright, go over it again. Dry it. That's it. Oh, and the airbrush that I'm using is a Sparmax Max 35. 35 means it has a 0.35 needle tip. I think it said like most tip sizes are like 0.1, 2, 3, 4. This is and 5. This is right in the middle. So it's pretty good when you're doing basic work. To do more fine line detail stuff, you need a smaller tip size. Alright, there we go. Oh, too much. There we go. I don't know if you can see it, but okay, yeah, right in this area you can see it's kind of foggy, so it's just about ready. Now when you see it's foggy, you can blast it with the air and it'll start to dry a bit more. Right now I'm not blasting it with the top coat, just straight air, and and I'm not right up on it. Hitting it with the air, trying to get rid of all the fogginess. Back up to the lamp. Alright. And one more round should do it. And also, if you didn't know, if you want to make your joints tighter, just blast it with a top coat, and that top coat will add just a thick enough layer to make all your joints a bit tighter. Now, I've heard you can use glue and maybe paint or anything else to do the same effect. I just like doing this just because it's a bit simpler. Whoop, here we go. Alright, and it's nice and foggy right now. I'm going to show you the back side. This is what I did earlier. If you get right up on it and blast it, or blast it too heavy, it's going to do that. You can see a little bit as best you can. It's runny, and you can try and fix it by blasting it with the air, but then you're just going to get streaks everywhere, and then you'll have to go over it again and again and again to try and hide it as best you can, but it'll still be there. Okay. Finally, blast it with the air. And it is done. There. Okay. Now, let's see if I can get the lighting right to really show you. There you go. Look at that. If I had better lighting, you could really see, but look at that. Completely shiny. Complete mirror finish. Now obviously once you spray that, you let it dry for, you know, however long. Usually whenever I do these sessions, my drying time for everything, I'll let the gloss black dry for like a day or so. The next day I'll come in and spray the next paint on, let that dry, come the next day, do this, do the red, then the next day do the top coat. So for me, doing one round of parts takes me almost a week. Now other people, it might be shorter than that, but I'm very meticulous, and that's why it takes me so long to do some of these builds, because I try to be perfect. Obviously I'm not perfect, but it's always good to strive for perfection. And I'm just amazed by this, because doing this turned out a bit better than when I did my Epion. So when I did my Epion, like I said, it had more of an orange peel effect to it, and this slightly has it. You can't really tell too much in the video, but when you really get up on it and look at it, you can see, but who's really going to be looking that close? But that is just amazing. And oh yeah, the cleaning out of your airbrush. This pledge, do not let it sit and dry in your airbrush, because it is a pain in the butt to clean and get out. So once you're done spraying it, immediately clean it out. I usually clean it out with some acrylic thinner, and then I also use dried paint solvent. Just brush it around in there, spray it out, and then I clean it out with a what's that called? Here you go. Now with this Medea airbrush cleaner. Basically kind of like a soap that's made specifically for your airbrush. Cleans everything out, and then you're good to go. Alright guys, well, this video turned out a bit longer than what I had hoped for, but like I said, everyone has been asking me how to do this, so there's your instructional video, and this is how you get the titanium finish. Just to go over the steps again: enamel gloss black, Alcad 2 chrome, and a clear color. The gloss black has to be enamel, the chrome has to be lacquer, and the clear has to be acrylic. And this top coat is acrylic based, so you're good there. And also, oh, the other good thing about this is if you want to do panel lining on top of it, this makes a very smooth protective shell. So when you're doing your panel lining, like I use panel line marker, it just glides right over, and then you can just clean off the excess. Alright guys, sorry if I'm rambling now. Okay, well, don't forget to subscribe for more content. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. As always, there will be a link in the description to our Facebook page, Mississippi Gundam and Gunpla. Make sure to check that out. Alright guys, with that, I'll see you guys next time.